and welcome. The Property Show engages you on all matters real estate. Today, it's all about the advantages of buying property off-plan. We are often tasked with different jargons as we wade through the real estate journey. Today, we tackle the off-plan concept, looking in-depth at the pros and cons of investing in property before its completion, as well as highlight the opportunities in this space. Also lined up, catch the launch of underground power line substation.
It improves the quality of service by ensuring that the outages are much more reduced.
The changing face of Telecom enterprise.
We also want to enable business people, entrepreneurs, to come in and help us build this new telco.
The role of internet in the real estate landscape.
It's very important for someone to be online because you will realize that 80% of people, especially in Nairobi, have access to the internet.
Advice on getting onto the property ladder and much, much more. This show is packed with everything. Our Twitter and Facebook pages are where the conversation is going on. Share your comments and questions and let's talk. As always, there is something for everyone. Today, it's all about the off-plan concept. Buying property off-plan is a trend that has seen many aspiring homeowners as well as investors acquire property by making an investment on nothing more than architectural plans. This may seem risky, but it has proven to be a convenient way of getting onto the property ladder and rewarding with equity value increase of the investments. In addition, you get to choose the design that suits you best and get enough time to complete the payment process during the construction period. We kick off with Skyview Gardens, a development perfectly located in Westlands, surrounded by schools, shopping facilities and entertainment joints, with ease of access to the CBD. These apartments exude sophistication from every corner. Let's have a look.
Skyview Gardens is a beautifully allocated project on Church Road in Westlands. And it starts right at the door with a cloakroom for guests. As soon as they arrive, they're able to freshen up or, as the case may be, relax before they get into the house, because some people want to be fully presentable before they get in. We've got a cloakroom, loo, with a nice mirror, with a nice sink, all Duravet, all from Europe, before you come into the main house. And from here, we then move very comfortably into the main house. But before you get there, again, we've got still space for people to either put their umbrellas, put their shoes, or for those more religiously inclined, you can have your bust of whichever religious entity you'd want to be represented here. That's before you get into the main house, into the sitting room. This is the larger of the standard units. And as you can see, we have the sitting area, which we always have a signature wall so that the buyer can choose exactly what color they'd like. We've got lightings which allow us to have all sorts of different combinations. So we can go from that all the way down to just LED, very low energy options. And yet, once we go all the way to the top, you have mood lighting that allows you the benefit of choosing exactly what kind of mood you like. This then moves seamlessly into the dining area, which, as you can see from the table we've set, this can sit either 8 or can be expanded all the way to up to 10 people. And from the dining area, seamlessly then again into the kitchen. Now, this kitchen, we've done certain things differently. In all the other subsequent houses, we've got the lip of this counter going just slightly further out so that people can actually have breakfast. Because some people prefer to be able to have breakfast as mom or dad is cooking. And then further down in this unit, we've got a center island. Some people prefer to have the cooker as centered. So we then have this with an option for the vent. Instead of it being over, your extractor fan actually comes from the table. Then we've got, in this kitchen, your storage space for your pantry. We've got space enough for your microwaves. That, as you can see, full space for a 6-burner cooker, which with the special that we are giving off-plan comes as standard. So you get the cooker and you get your vent all sorted out with more than ample space for your cabinetry. We've got more than enough space for people to have all sorts of new kinds of kitchen crockery and cutlery. Coming through, we've used the similar floorboards because it gives you a seamless coloring all the way now to the individual 3-bedroom all-in-suite units. So we'll start with this one. And as you can see, we've got a 3-bedroom unit. The first one gives you a nice view of what in future will be the swimming pool area. We've got the heated pool coming up there. We've got the landscape garden coming here in the middle. And as you can see from this room, you've got space enough for a full king-size bed. And this could just as easily be 2 beds, each child on a single bed. And yet, there's enough space for your study. We've got another unit that's also in suite. This is the more standard of the 2 units. Again, similar lighting, similar space, and all the way through to another bathroom with slightly curvature because of the curvature of the building, but again, the large shower, and just as important, the signature wall. And again, nice space for your vanities, and nice mirrors, space for all your towels, and enough lighting even on a dull day like this. For the master bedroom, come with me. We have done 3 things differently. The most important thing we have done differently is to give enough space for the couple to relax both inside the room, and as you can see when we come onto the balcony, you've got space to relax. You get a signature wall, which you get to choose what color. This particular couple preferred the maroon, but there are others who prefer blue. There are others you'll go upstairs and find they prefer white. So it really is up to you. And then coming through again, as always with couples, the more cabinets, the better, especially for the lady. So we even have space for a lazy Susan here. She can have up to 60 handbags or 100 pairs of shoes. And then for the gentleman, he gets the small of the 2 sizes. So the small of the 2 sides, but still enough space, as you can see. I mean, you go all the way to the back and vanish. Deep cabinets with loads of space.
Other amenities include well-equipped gym, high-speed elevators, solar heating system, swimming pool and sauna, 2 parking spaces per unit, backup generator, and a garden area. Westlands Primary School and Consolata School are some of the nearby educational centres. For shopping lovers, Westgate Mall and the Nakumatt UK are at close proximity with major banks included. For all health issues, MP Shah, Westlands Medical Center and Aga Khan hospitals are there to serve you.
The location and ambience of this development works seamlessly with the classic finishes, creating an elegant yet warm space for urban living. Next, we continue with the off-plan concept. Recently, we highlighted an exceptional superior development by Cherise Properties, Royal Finesse. We catch up with Leah on the second project available off-plan for aspiring home buyers as well as investors. Let's listen in. Karibu sana on the show, and thank you for having us yet again.
Thank you.
Where are you seeing the real estate market going, especially in the Kitengela area?
I would say that a lot of developers or a lot of developments have been happening in the upmarket region. We have a lot of housing in Kilimani, in Lavington, in Kileleshwa. We have more in Westlands, and I feel those are good products that are done in that market because probably of the good returns that developers may be getting from such region. So I believe that there's a gap that could be left for the upcoming markets in the other regions, like for instance on Mombasa Road or on Thika Road or further away from Nairobi.
So, the satellite cities, basically.
Exactly, the satellite cities. So there is a gap actually in such areas. I believe we have not so beautiful spaces being provided in these satellite areas, and so I felt the need to be one of the people who want to bring a change in these areas. Yes.
Let's talk about your new project and break it down for us. What is available?
I think every time we are doing a project, it's very exciting for me. Probably because I go to the, I'm immersed in it in terms of every step of the way. When we were coming up with the drawings, I had an image in my head, what it is that I wanted, and it was nothing common. I bless the Lord that when I get to travel, I look at buildings, I look at architecture, I look at how things are done, and I take photos. And so I imagine how I can get a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and a little bit of everything and put it all together. So when we were coming up with the drawings for this upcoming project, I had an idea of what I wanted. And so we sat with our architect, and I gave him the images, and I told him what I wanted, what I had loved, and what was so endearing to me in the houses that I was seeing, and I wanted that taken and put in the project that we were going to come up with. Yeah.
Making sure you've got the right location, you've got your approvals, you've got the right product. How has that journey been?
Of course, it's not easy. There are hurdles, but there's nothing that comes easy.
Exactly.
So it's the challenge that we take up, and we are very, we know what we want, and we push for it. And like I said, there's nothing that comes easy. Nothing will ever be laid at your table. Yeah, you have to work hard for everything.
Break down the Royal Pearl as you see it in your mind.
So the Royal Pearl's apartments consist of 284 apartments. We'll have 144 three-bedroom apartments, and we'll have 140 two-bedroom apartments. The three-bed is about 150 square meters, and the two-bed 122, 124 square meters. All en suite. Ample space. We have provided parkings at least 1.5 per unit. There's going to be a swimming pool, there's going to be a gym, there's going to be a mini-mart. It's a lot of green area, playgrounds for kids to play. It's just exceptional.
And the location?
It's in Syokimau, just before you get to Mlolongo. Yeah. there's no sewer line actually in Syokimau area. So we have partnered with a very good farm that is going to do. We are doing wastewater management. We are going to install a biodigester for the area, and it's adequate for the number of units that we have. The water, we are going to do a borehole, because of course we cannot have such an amount of people living and there is not sufficient water for them. So we'll have the borehole done for that, to cater for their water needs. Yeah.
Now let's come to the buyer. Who is the buyer for these units?
Our target market actually is, first of all, we have clients who are coming in from our project Royal Finesse. In Royal Finesse, we had quite a number of people come in and they loved the units, they wanted the house, but they could not afford that unit. And so we had a lot of people who are falling off, not because they did not like the product, but because they could not afford it. And it was not a small number, it was quite a huge number. And so we thought, what can we do for these people? And since it was important for them to have a big, ample space, it was important for them to have a good product in terms of quality. We felt that we could not just give them a replica of Royal Finesse, but shortchange them in terms of the quality or the size. And so the only reasonable thing for us to do was to come up with an apartment. And so that is targeted for that. And we realized there are quite a number of people who are in the range of lower middle income earners or investors who are able to buy multiple houses or even just a number of them. So these are the people that we are targeting.
I know that this will be a beautiful product, and I'm very excited. Once again, congratulations. Give us your final thoughts.
Thank you, Nancy. I think my final call would be to ask people to come for the launch. We will be announcing it in this forum shortly. We urge them to come and see for themselves. Come and visit the Royal Finesse so that you can get a feel of the work that we have done, and also now come also and visit us at our offices. Come and see us at Royal Pearls, and I'm sure what you're going to see is going to impress you. We look forward to serving Kenya, to serving our people, giving many families beautiful homes. Just come and have a look and trust us to work with you. If you're looking for a home to buy, just come and view for yourself and work with us for us to deliver a beautiful home and beautiful space. That is our job to you.
Royal Pearls is located in Syokimau, 500 meters off Mombasa Road, with access to the project already tarmacked. The development consists of 144 three-bedroom units and 140 two-bedroom units in a 3.5-acre piece of land. Accommodation features include spacious lounge area, 3 bedrooms all-en-suite and a DSQ with a plinth area of 1,692 square feet, 2 bedrooms all-en-suite with a plinth area of 1,313 square feet. Salient features include perimeter fence, Cabra paved driveways, ample parking space, swimming pool, gym, mini mart, children's play area, biodigester, backup generator, elevator and borehole. Royal Pearls is located in Syokimau, 20 kilometers from Nairobi CBD and 7 minutes from the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. Shopping centers in the area include Gateway Mall, Jambush Shopping Center and Twins Shopping Center with major banks represented. Schools in close proximity include Mount Sinai, CMI School, Notre Dame Primary School. Hospitals in the vicinity include the Aga Khan University Hospital in Syokimau. Hilton Inn Hotel is also in close proximity.
Cherie's Properties signature is all about redefining excellence in the real estate space. The future of getting onto the property ladder is in off-plan buying. What makes this an attractive option? First, equity growth. Secondly, flexible payment terms. You also get to pick the apartment units of your choice. And for those like me who like the corner apartment, that's a chance to make that pick. Finally, a chance to also pick your own finishes and designs. But like any other investment, the downside of buying property off-plan may be delayed completion timelines and sometimes a contrast between the renders and the actual property. I must say, when buying off-plan, it's prudent to conduct a due diligence, work with seasoned developers, and a background check on the developers also helps. Next, Kenya Power on the launch of a first-of-its-kind substation. Let's listen in.
This morning we launched the Kenya Power and Lighting Staff Structure, and there we saw the need to have our structure focus on consumers, customer focus. Minister, I want to tell you that about 80% of all complaints you hear that makes us look so bad is nothing other than customer dissatisfaction. So what we want to do is be available to our customers, ensure that we explain to customers if there are problems, to carry them along with us, and to minimize interruptions to their much needed essential service as possible. So this installation today exactly does that. It improves the quality of service by ensuring that the outages are much more reduced, and therefore makes the customer happier because of longer time availability of power supply for themselves, their households and industries. It also ensures that the system's efficiency is upheld by the sheer fact of its locality and by its nearness to the industrial area. Electricity, just like water, flows in a conduit, and therefore the nearer the conduit supply is to the area of use, the higher the quality of service. And therefore, for 60% of our consumers who are mainly manufacturers, they will benefit immensely by merely the location of the installation. So that makes us even go a step further to ensure that our big consumers are also addressed. And lastly, and not the least, the whole aspect of line maintenance capability, where we have, as a substation, we are able to switch lines and be able to ensure that as the maintenance is going on, we have uninterrupted supply.
Next, the accessory spot. Traditionally, windows were designed to let in light, air, or just to see through. Today, windows are the eyes for artistic statements and the frame for beautiful views. Let's see some interesting tips.
Curtains. There are different types of curtains that you can use on your window. Some are quite sheer and only block a small amount of outside light, while some are incorporated with heavy linen and different layers of fabric. It is important to note that different types of curtains function differently in different parts of the house. Incorporate colors of your choice in a way that complements the theme color of your space. Venture into different designs of curtains that best describes your personality. If possible, use the same material, fabric, or color used in other parts of the house for consistency. Blinds. You can use different materials to achieve the desired look. This includes metal, vinyl, aluminium, wood, and bamboo. Although white is the most common color for blinds in most homes, try to incorporate colors, designs, and textures to bring that warmth and character to a space. Shades. There are several types of window shades, including those that resemble blinds and operate by simply lifting or lowering the bottom of the shade. Shades come in several colors that are both aesthetically appealing but allow in less light when closed. Some of the other options include honeycomb shades, which are slightly thicker and are better at keeping out the cold in your home. Roman shades, these are fabric shades that offer a distinctive style to the home. And finally, the bamboo shades are woven and have a natural look. Valances. Valances are an ideal selection that hang from the top of a window and can be used alone or in conjunction with another window treatment. One of the major benefits of a valance is that they cover the hardware needed for hanging curtains, blinds, and shades. These are available in assorted colors and designs so that you'll want to go with something that matches your decor.
The accessory spot is where we get inspired on how to spruce up our space. Next week, catch more interesting tips. Next, Expert Insights. It's a fact, the first stop when looking for property is the internet. Let's hear from the leading online platform.
Jumia House is part of Jumia Group, which has a presence in over 15 countries in Africa. Jumia House basically deals with real estate to market properties and basically to link the buyers and the sellers online. We've been in the market for the last 5 years, and we've been able to generate tons of leads for the sellers, as well as create visibility for also the buyers who are looking for properties all over Africa. I must mention that it's very important for someone to be online because you will realize that 80% of people, especially in Nairobi, have access to the internet. The impact of internet real estate is very vital because it has changed the way we used to operate before. A while back, everyone used to go to malls like the Sarit Center, where you used to go to the notice boards and actually look at the properties that you're looking for, also look out in the newspaper. And now with the introduction of the internet real estate, basically gives you a platform where the property is there 24 hours throughout the month, throughout the year. So in case you didn't buy a newspaper today and you buy tomorrow, you see you've missed out on the previous day. So the internet just basically gives you that 24-hour fully experience for looking for properties. And it also minimizes your cost in terms of going to view properties and going to search for these particular properties. So basically, go online to a site like Jumia House, where you'll find a platform where we've readily put all our properties there for you to see. Then you either click for sale, for rent, and put in the location that you want to look, where you want to live in. Then you find a variety of options where you can choose from. Our role is just to ease the whole internet experience in regard to real estate and become the #1 platform. So we basically want to ease the process between the buyer and the seller. As I said before, it was quite a tedious process where you had to go house to house looking for what you want. But here we just created a platform where you put your house up at your own convenience, and even as the buyer is looking for the property, they're able to access it at any time, at any place through the internet. Before even you go to the internet to look for a property, I'm sure you have a basic idea of the price of that particular area. Because like for instance, if you're going to look for a property in Muthaiga for rent, for instance, and you find it for 50,000, that should be a red flag of some sort. So basically there's a benchmark of prices which I am sure most of the Kenyans who are on the internet are aware of. So this is the first thing that they should look for in terms of when they go out online. Then always go for properties that have a lot of information. Go for agents and developers who portray a lot about the property in terms of photos, many photos and description. Developers should ensure that all the information about the area they operate from, the exact location of the site, when, especially for off-plan projects, when they intend to complete, and if it's completed, when it was completed. They should just basically put as much information as possible, because this is totally different than agencies where they don't need to put a lot of information. So for developers, it's very crucial for them to have everything online. Anytime you put a property on our platform, we have a quality control team based in our head office in Dubai that basically goes through each and every property to ensure that we maintain all the same standards all across Africa, because we're also present in other countries in Africa. So they go through each and every property to ensure that you have the right photos as per our standard. And we normally say, like for instance of photos, we want them in landscape as opposed to portrait, so that it brings out the property well. And you have a lot of description where you've talked about the property in detail. Then once they have all this information, now they approve the property. So for instance, we've had to reject a lot of properties because you'll find in some cases where one person puts one photo and one sentence. We do not recommend that.
Indeed, the real estate landscape has evolved and internet is changing how people search for property. Stay with us, still ahead, the changing face of telecom enterprise. Advice on getting onto the property ladder and much more. Don't go away, we'll be right back.
We serve about 50,000 customers in our 52 centers nationwide. With the sensitive large data we handle every day, we've got to work with a partner that provides security for that data. The Telecom Enterprise provides the secure links to connect our Huduma centers, the ministries, departments and agencies with which we integrate to our data centers. Only Telecom Enterprise has the capability we need to provide efficient services countrywide. Telecom Enterprise puts the enter in enterprise.
Telecom Enterprise, enhancing business growth.
Welcome back. You're watching The Property Show. Telecom is on the move, offering data bundles, voice and new exciting products whilst partnering with SMEs to bring their services closer to us. Let's listen in. Karibu sana on the show.
Asante sana.
Telecom Enterprise recently repositioned. What does that mean to Kenya, the consumer, and what's on offer?
So the repositioning is really about coming back to the market and saying who we are and what we can provide. A lot of people understand the mobile part of the business. A lot of people understand the mobile financial or the T-Cash part of the business. But Telecom Enterprise is probably not well understood. So of course, we are the business-to-business arm of the company. And we've now come out to the market and say we have new offers in terms of data. We have new offers in terms of voice. We have packages which put both the voice and data together. And these are the specific segments that we're serving. So a lot of our focus is towards the business community, towards the public sector, and we are also trying to encourage the SMEs through our dealers and our resellers. So for example, like I said, we have bundled offers for data and voice together. If you're an SME and you own an office and you want something from home, we're able to give you a bundled offer that can tailor-make for your unified communications.
What about fiber to the buildings? I know that you have heavily invested in that area. What should we be looking at and where are you today?
So today we've done most of the central business district in terms of putting fiber in buildings. We're growing towards Westlands and Upper Hill. We basically have put together a massive budget to do fiber to the buildings, to most commercial buildings in the major towns. So Nairobi, Kisumu, Mombasa, Nyeri, Nanyuki, we have fiber in all of these places, and we're going to be extending it to all the commercial buildings and also the public sector buildings, because we have a very major public sector drive to help the government on its Big Four agenda. So be it health facilities, be it the police facilities, be it education facilities, things that will help to put infrastructure for people who are doing housing communities, we are going to be involved in those. That is the positioning of Telecom Enterprise.
And what's the future of fiber technology, and where have you put the home solution in all this?
So the home solution is an interesting one. Unlike some of our competitors, we're looking at getting into the homes using resellers. So we have got large infrastructure. Telecom has always had the largest infrastructure, be it from the international cables coming via sea or the land infrastructure in terms of fiber. So we see ourselves as an enabler to other brands who want to be in the homes. We may not necessarily directly be in homes using fiber. So we've done the deployment. Now we're looking to get resellers to come and monetize this fiber that we've put over there.
How does that model work?
Basically, it means that if we take an area such as
either Kitengele or Syokimau or Thika,
we are able to take the fiber to the gate, but then another company, say JosieNet, which is somebody who's actually in Kitengela who knows that area and wants to start up a small business, we give them a proposition such as a business in a box. So we train them, we enable them to be able to use our fiber to then place it into the homes. They are the ones who will do the last mile connection or put the connectivity in the home. They will do the collection and they'll do the support. So when you have a challenge over there, you're calling somebody who's a local person who has been enabled by us as Telecom. We want to bring up entrepreneurs. We want to bring up SMEs who want to be in this space. It's not about taking it all for ourselves and taking all the money. We want to grow as we grow other people also.
And so if I'm dealing with a net company and we live in Syokimau in a gated community, so you bring fiber to the gate and he does the last mile. Who do I pay my bills
So
to?
we have two models. One model which involves use of our brand, where the payments will come to us, they help us collect. And we have another model where we sell wholesale to these resellers and then they sell on to you, in which case the end user client will pay the reseller.
Let's talk about challenges. This has been a long journey. What are the challenges you have encountered along the way?
The first challenge that we encountered is a perceptive challenge, more about the brand and the company, where people felt that the Telecom brand, there's no way you can revive such a company, such a brand, because it had gone quite down, quite under. But I believe beyond doubt, we've been able to prove over the last 2 years, we've rejuvenated the brand. And more important, it's not about putting a coat of paint on it. It's about getting the people to actually be energized, to be passionate about delivering good services to the end client. The second is cultural, that we inherited a company that probably had one of the biggest challenges in terms of culture, bureaucratic culture, slow culture, non-client-centric culture. And I think we've also been able to overcome that. Now it's an issue of taking our products to the market, being much better and sleeker at our distribution channels, and obviously engaging the end user customer to understand the new Telecom, our vibrancy, to understand that, hey, we are passionate about actually giving services to the end users.
Customer-centric is the new Telecom mantra. Visit any of their outlets countrywide and get connected. Recently, Claire shared her inspiring home ownership story on taking time on extensive research before signing the dotted line. This conversation continues next. This is the time that I must own my own home?
I was walking the journey with so many people, you know. And beyond that, we don't have roots here with my husband, but we said when we're in Nairobi, I think it's time for us to stop giving the money to someone else. Let's have something of our own. And at that point, we just decided and said, let's take the plunge and own a piece of Nairobi. Everyone else does, and we did.
What would you advise a viewer at home watching you and thinking you got yours so quick and everything was too fast? What would you advise them? And as a professional in the industry, what will people be looking out for?
Well, one of the things that I have to admit is that as much as it sounds that it was very fast, I took my time. At one point, I had said this market was going crazy on the pricing. And so we had vowed we would never buy a house in Kenya at that price, because in other places you can actually buy a block of flats at the same price. So we said, it took time. We took about a year or so of testing and saying, do we do it, do we not? You would read newspapers and say, if you go in this area, you do get a return on your investment. And so we said, okay, let's now focus.
So study the market.
Study the market, ensure that you will not be, you will not regret. Because we do have people who regret. You go to a far-flung area, your lifestyle adjusts so much, you begin to resent this space. So you find yourself letting the space out or the house out so that you can go back to where you felt your heart wanted. And so do your homework, take time. No one is rushing you. Most of the time, developers are also, hoping you'll come back their way.
Yes.
It's never a rush. It's never a rush. If you find a sale or anything, you can always get a better deal.
Yes.
And so do your homework, compare, make sure that everything checks out. For me, key was children not having to sleep on the road in the morning or sleep on the road on the evening. They leave when the sun is shining. They come back when the sun is shining. So that was key for me. I was happy not to frustrate other people in the family just because of where I wanted to live.
What amenities were you looking out for?
I was happy to at least have, especially security. I know it's not really an amenity, but it's becoming essential to our Kenyan market especially. So security, an opportunity to be able to come in or have my guests come in any time of the day or night without worrying or fearing. Also, my children can go out up too late and play. But a plus would have been a swimming pool and a play area, of course.
But of course, you don't get everything you want.
No, of course you don't.
Yeah.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. Yes. So we accepted. When you do make your checklist of what you must have and what you can live without, look at what outweighs the other. And then when you go to that development, say, yes, the price is right, but am I happy with what they're saying? I'll have to drive 1 kilometer off the road every day. Will I really be happy with that?
What about financing? And that's the pain point for a lot of people.
It is. We had to pull out a lot of savings and, resourcing. We mortgaged part of it and we said, this is an opportunity for us to just see how our money can work for us. And hopefully we made the right decision.
I think you did. It's a beautiful house. I love it.
Thank you.
It's a beautiful apartment. Again, the other thing a lot of people ask is, what were your challenges? People think that it's a walk in the park, but buying a home, I always find if you miss one step or the other, there are challenges.
Yes, there's a lot of detail and fine print in between the mortgaging and the conveyancing process, where if you are a regular buyer and you leave your application at the desk of a mortgager and you walk away thinking that someone will handhold the whole process, you're actually mistaken. There's a lot of personal involvement required, which is what I did. I took on the process personally, and the seller also took on his side. So we each knew what we wanted to get out very quickly, because it took quite a while, about 6 months of engagement and pushing this and that, and third parties who don't necessarily know what you intend to do very quickly. So the third parties had to buy into our situation. We were on our lawyers, each of us, we were on each process, each of us, walking each step, knocking at the right doors every step. Do not leave the process to anyone else.
Are you looking to get onto the property ladder? Join the Property Show Network and we'll help you cast the net wider. That's it for today, and thank you for watching The Property Show. My take on off-plan investments for aspiring home buyers as well as investors. This is an option worth considering, from flexible payment options to owning a brand new property at a discounted rate. Next Sunday, catch trends transforming real estate to real advantage. This conversation continues on our Twitter and Facebook pages. Until next week, as always, there is something for everyone. Kwaheri.